Okay. All right. Let's talk about this. This is depressed composition. That's who I am. But you gotta know the full story to be honest. So here's my story. I was born Tanae Geraldine Swift Bay on September 19th, 1993. I was born right here in Baltimore, Maryland, at St. Agnes Hospital. Um, According to my mom, I was a very big baby, but I really don't have any like big pictures of me as like a newborn, so I really don't know what I truly look like being a newborn and stuff. But you really should. I really don't remember most things, you know. But I do remember um, being known as a sumo because I was such a heavy child. Um, and I just also did not want to be considered that because, being heavy, that kind of hurt my feelings, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you can't help sometimes how you look, If you appear to be a heavy person, but you have a certain shape to you, embrace that because all curves are meant to be like pretty cool and stuff, you know? Um, I was diagnosed with ADHD and Asperger's, which is a rare form of autism, at a very young age, dating back to the early 90s, which is around maybe when I was born. I was diagnosed by a doctor after they ran tests on me, and I've been dealing with mental issues since then. My first school was Robert H. Coleman Elementary School. I was there up until like first grade. So when I graduated from first grade, I headed straight to Edgewood Elementary. Let's start with Robert H. Coleman. It was an okay school. I pretty much had lunch. I pretty much had a creative like setup. Um, I also had you know a fresh mind to grow on, but at the same time, I was not really ready to accept my creative abilities just yet at that younger age. Um, my favorite teacher at Robert H. Coleman, her name was Miss Griffin. Miss Griffin was a tall, dark-skinned lady. She wore like a nice little curl, fade or whatever. And she was considered to be one of my favorite teachers. I remember um, one of my school trips, we went to the zoo, the Baltimore Zoo, and we got on this like little Ferris wheel. Not a Ferris wheel, but we got on like a little carousel ride at the zoo, and we had like apples and cream cheese. That was a really cool day, and it was pretty fun because we got to see most of the animals, and we went to the farm. One time, so that was pretty cool. So Edgewood, Robert H. Coleman was pretty much a school that I would love to visit sometimes, but um, I haven't really had any means to go back and visit because of the sole fact that I haven't been there since I graduated from that school and first went to first grade. So I really don't have too much memory of it, but at this point, I have enough memory to realize that that's when my creative senses begin to take off. Yeah. Next school was Edgewood Elementary School, school number 67. I literally hated that school. I still do. Because a lot of things that I was exposed to should never happen. I was exposed to being in a relationship that I thought was meant to be forever. And even though I was young, I didn't really care like what I was going to do with it. I know it was going to be like up until I grew up. I was considered the bully of the class, so I would bully most of the boys, and eventually I got bullied um, by some of the boys, but I was able to hold my own. With the girls, not so much. You know, I couldn't stand some of the girls that were at my school. They thought they were better than me. I remember it was a school trip we went to, and I was completely humiliated on a bus so bad that I was in tears while we got on back on the school bus. So there was a reason why I hated that school, because some of the girls that were there made my life a living hell. Although I did achieve some success in gaining a little bit of friends at Edgewood, and when I graduated 5th grade, it was a relief because I can get away from the BS from what happened at that school. Let's fast forward onward to middle school. William H. Lamel Middle School, which is now known as Connections. Another school I hated. Couldn't stand William H. Lamel. I just couldn't stand it. It was just not the right school for me. I didn't appreciate that school because I don't think they ever really taught me anything. But I did get most of my learning experiences throughout that school, Met a dude who I thought I was gonna be with forever up until like we, grew up and became adults. But that that was like the worst relationship I could have ever been in. Around this time of 2005, which is approximately about 11 years ago, I was sexually assaulted by a group of classmates who I thought were my friends. We went upstairs to avoid getting caught by teachers because we were kind of like pretty much being rebels, and the people who were upperclassmen, they went on to a field trip, and us being the middle to lower class, we couldn't go on a trip with the big kids. So we all just hid out in the teacher's room, unattended. A teacher was like, nah, y'all can't be doing that. So we ran away to another classroom, and we we went to this classroom where there was a closet, and a teacher or some type of civil authority was coming towards us. So I hid in the closet, and that's when the rape occurred. I do remember being bitten on my left breast. I don't really have any like bite marks, so I know they're gone by now. But it really like put a really bad scar on me. And I was assaulted previously before that huge assault where I was forced to perform oral sex on a group of classmates. So I thought once again with my friends. It was humiliating. I felt disgusted, but at the same time, I knew that these guys have a following with doing that with certain girls. But you just hear like they're rumors, like rumors. You never thought they would be true until it happens to you. And I've stopped like shedding tears about the situation because I've cried all that I could cry about. And at this point, it's just no reason for me to cry about this anymore because I'm completely over it. And I'm never going to forget it. Now I decided to leave. My mother found out about one of the situations, and then I told her about the situation with the oral sex situation. Right around 2013, 2014. But my mother only knew about one situation that happened in 2005, and that was when I was assaulted in the closet. So she had transferred me out of school and find another middle school for me to go to so I can like be around a new center of people. So I was homeschooled for a little bit, but my mom didn't teach me. A teacher who was a professional taught me, and gave me enough for the schoolwork, and I was willing to participate and be able to be more open-minded because it was here. It was right in my home. Then I was sent to Green Spring Academy, another school I couldn't fucking stand. I was developing more, so I knew that guys were gonna try me, and that I knew that certain girls are more willing to do what they would never do when their mom's around because they're in school and they don't think they're the one's gonna catch them. My mom does not really know about this particular story, but we were upstairs on an upper level where there are lockers, and I got pretty much used to people trying to go into my locker, trying to take my things. And Greensboro Academy, which is now known as KIPP, it's in the county. So that means I had to take a bus all the way from Warborough Junction, which is where I reside at, all the way up to the county to literally get to school. Sometimes I would make the bus, sometimes I wouldn't. But that's neither here nor there. I was groped inappropriately by a gentleman who I did not consider as a friend, who I did not consider as an acquaintance. But I was literally groped by this gentleman. And I repeatedly told him no. And he stopped. And a group of people who I did not want to associate with immediately assumed that we did something because he pulled his pants up. There was another incident where we were playing, but I didn't consider it to be playing, where I was faking like I was giving oral sex to a guy. And then I don't really remember, but some guy rubbed his penis on my back. It was just not a good time. You know. The girls were even more worse at KIP than they were at any of my old schools. I was literally almost close to fighting because of it. And I lost friendships. I gained some. But at the same time, I hated that school. I still hate it. Now fast forward on to Lakeland. It was an okay school. Except for the sole fact that I could not really, I didn't really like mingling in one classroom. But when I graduated 8th grade, it was exciting for me. There weren't any stories about me getting assaulted there, but there were stories about me feeling really dumb, thinking that boys liked me when they really didn't. That's when I really knew that I wasn't as a cool girl as I thought I was. So I felt humiliated. But on top of that, I felt like disgusted with myself because I was putting on a show for a guy that didn't really fucking want me. And I was faking like I liked these girls, but I didn't. I had particular friends, set of friends that we all hanged around. I had a really close to dangerous encounter with a Caucasian male. He didn't really touch me or anything. It was just very ignorant, very disrespectful, insulting, called me a stupid bitch. He didn't really last long because he went straight to Job Corps. But this Caucasian male forced me into a nervous breakdown right in the lunchroom. So it took like a lot of people to calm me down. Because I never encountered disrespect from another race like that, especially at a young age. So when I graduated from Lakeland, it was, in my opinion, I say it was an okay time. I went to another school known as Westport, but that wasn't a good experience for me, so I don't really want to talk about that. Now let's fast forward to 2007. I'm no longer in middle school, I'm in high school. Coppin Academy. I used to call it Coppin State Academy, but yeah. So with Coppin Academy, I got along with the set that I got along with. But then again, I had some really bad experiences with being bullied, rumors being spread about me, and it just really pissed me off. I got into really bad arguments with people that I didn't associate with as friends. And around the time my freshman year at Coppin Academy, I got hit by a car in October. I don't know if this camera will visually show it, but right along this eye here is where the scar was. So I had stitches right along here. And I had a huge scar from here all the way down to my face, but no broken bones. And I had a huge, I don't like I had a huge scar right here on my right arm. So it's mostly she stepped on the brakes and the ground did most of the work. So I don't know if I actually got hit by the car because I really don't remember what happened. So I was out of school up until I healed up. And neurologically and mentally, I just did not want to go into another element of learning. I did not want to learn anymore. I just didn't want to be around anybody in school because it was embarrassing. Because I was set to learn, and then being hit by a car, it just messed me up in a whole other way. So I did fail some of my classes from my freshman and sophomore year. By the time junior senior year came, I was getting much better. The scars have healed up. Um, I was able to learn as much as I wanted to and get way more creative, way more better. But other than that, it was pretty easy to not fall in love, to not be in a relationship. I went on trips, lots of cool trips. I went out of state a few times. I went out to like Williamsburg, Virginia, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And a lot of people kept saying that, that Philly is like not a good place to live in, but it's okay. We had to stay in I guess what you would call the suburban or rural areas. So it didn't go like too far into like actual Philly, but it was still a great trip overall. I think the best trip for me was Williamsburg. Um, I love the colonial area, and I planned in my head when I was in high school to move there one day. But that ship had sailed when I went to college, Coppin State University. Um, and a whole lot of bullshit came. I just didn't want to really, deal with the bullshit at college. And then around 2013, I lost someone who I considered to be an amazing friend, an amazing grandmother, an amazing, like, second mom to me. My grandmother, Geraldine Melrose Brooks, passed away September 11, 2013. About about 9 days before my birthday. I felt guilty because I did not want to visit her at the nursing facility. I visited her in the hospitals and she came home, so I knew she was going to be okay when she came home. But during those final hours, I just could not be around her as of like that because I wanted her to get better and to come home. So I was kind of waiting for her to come home and to be at peace with her family because she assumed that she was at home with her family. And she asked where I was before she passed. She was worried a lot about me. So I didn't really give her that chance to at least see me and say that I'm alright. When I saw her at the hospital, the facility that she was in, I was not prepared to see her in rigor mortis. Um, if you don't know what rigor mortis is, that means when the body is completely, stiff. It's not moving. Like the skin's not. You can't really mess with the skin. You can't touch the skin. You can't pull it back like you pull your skin normally. Especially when the body is cold, frozen, dead. Then when the funeral came, I fell down when I saw her in that casket at least 2 times. It was just not okay for me to see her like that. Um, we buried her next to my grandfather, being that he was a veteran, and he cleaned up the Korean War, most of it. Um, he was buried where most veterans who were no longer with us were buried, in Maryland. And my grandmother was buried in her favorite color, in a blue casket with a very beautiful white outfit that she wore to church ever so often. Um, I chose the outfit for her. I chose to to put her teeth in, because I knew she did not want to go anywhere without her teeth. So yeah. So after we buried her, I just didn't felt like I got hit by the car again. Did not want to go and do anything until I got this off my chest. Until I was able to grieve, you know. And it affected my schoolwork. It affected my reputation as being a educated African American woman. And it just messed me up mentally. And I didn't eat. I didn't really sleep well. Um, and I eventually ended up getting heart palpitations due to me stressing out from the death of my grandmother around December of 2013. The doctor thought it was a blood clot, but I knew for a fact that I didn't really have one because I didn't have those weird breathing, alternate breathing situations. I just had my heart racing, and that was pretty much it. And when I tried to move, like, you tried to move, but something that's kind of like keep moving, but you're sitting still, and it feels like a basketball is bouncing in the left side underneath your breast. That's what it felt like. Like a basketball just kept moving. Just wouldn't stop. My heart rate went up to at least 95 beats per minute. But it was still considered fast to me, because I was used to at least maybe 80 to at least 90 beats per minute. Now my heart rate is where it should be, but when I'm in a panic mode, it's not like that, but heart rate is considered to be more faster than what it usually is. Since then, I've repeatedly been in the hospital a few times for my really bad mental state. I ended up on medication, then I got off medication. Now I'm currently on new medication. Then I got off of that, and it was only good for 2 weeks. Now I'm spiraling to this shit. I have a new primary care physician. I have a new medication. I have a new therapist. I have a new psychiatrist. I have everything to help me be a better me, but I still needed me to move forward and be okay with who I am. At this point in my life, I am glad to say that I'm still here and that I am still worth it, because I am worth it. As far as relationships are concerned, I do currently have someone. It's been a few months and I've been avoiding him because I was used to that fake love. I was used to being in fake relationships, even, physically and being online. So when he told me that he loved me and I said I loved him back, I just knew it felt real. So I made an adjustment to at least move forward with this relationship and be with him, because even though I know I'm not ready to move in with him yet, I do plan to move. Just not right now, because I'm adjusting to new things. I recently just got this bed, and my father discussed with me a room for rent. My sister moved out. My brother and I are still here. I do want to get a job. I do want to pursue my career in radio. I'm just happy to be where I am today as a person. I had a goal set for myself that by the time I turn 25, I should be doing something with my life. Now that goal is going to be set at least maybe 35, because I still have time to grow. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry if it was pretty long, but that's just how I am. I want to get the whole detail out. I didn't go into certain details with certain schools I went to, with certain relationships I've been in, because you can't just put out so much. You can only put out so little. But I wanted to pinpoint the things that hurt me the most, so I can regain my power. As my therapist continues to tell me, is to regain my power, regain my respect. Not anything about trust, but to regain my respect back from me. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm very, very tired. I'm going to sleep in my new bed, because not only am I tired, but I'm very hungry. So I'm going to call it a day. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much for listening.